You're standing in a big box store, staring at a wall of brightly colored bags. Premium garden soil, organic topsoil, enriched potting mix. And you're about to spend $10, $20, even $50 on what is essentially a lie. That's right. A lie. That's right. You've been told that to have a great garden, you need to buy great soil. But the stuff in those bags? It's often little more than dead, sterilized peat moss, sand, and shredded wood. It has no life, no soul. It's a temporary plant hotel, not a permanent, thriving home. And the most insane part? The single most powerful tool for building the dark, rich, living soil of your dreams. The kind of soil that makes your neighbors jealous is something you are probably putting out on the curb every single week. For the last 15 years, I've been battling every kind of soil you can imagine. Rock-hard clay that could break a shovel, dead sand that wouldn't grow a weed, and compacted dirt in new construction lots that was basically concrete. I spent the money on the bags. I felt that gut-wrenching frustration when your prize-winning tomato plants just sit there, yellow and sad, refusing to grow. It's because we've been taught to focus on the plant, but the plant is just the tip of the iceberg. The real magic, the real power, is in the soil, and you don't need to buy it, you need to build it. And the foundation of that entire process is a simple cardboard box. Now, you might be thinking, cardboard? In my garden? Is that even safe? Want to just be a soggy mess? Stick with me here because what I'm about to show you is a complete paradigm shift. This isn't just a gardening hack. This is the core principle of regenerative, no-dig gardening that will save you money, save you back-breaking work, and give you the best garden you've ever had. So let's talk about that Amazon box you just got, or that pizza box from Friday night. We see it as trash. But in the world of soil, that cardboard is pure gold. It's a carbon source. And carbon is the fuel, the food, the very structure of healthy soil. Here's what happens when you lay that cardboard down on the ground. First, you're creating an impenetrable barrier for weeds. Forget pulling weeds for hours. Forget spraying toxic chemicals that kill everything in sight. A layer of plain brown cardboard laid right on top of your crappy lawn or weedy patch smothers everything underneath it. It blocks the sunlight, and without light, those weeds give up the ghost. It's a silent, peaceful assassination of your garden's biggest enemies. But it gets so much better. That cardboard layer does something else that is pure magic. It acts like a giant welcome mat for earthworms. Worms are the unsung heroes of the garden. They are your free labor. They till, they aerate, and most importantly, they poop. And worm poop or castings, if you want to be fancy, is one of the most nutrient-rich, biologically active fertilizers on the planet. Worms see that cardboard as a feast and a safe haven. They come up from the depths of your existing soil, protected from birds and the hot sun, and they start munching away. As they eat the cardboard and the other layers we're about to add, they tunnel up and down, creating channels for air and water and depositing their black gold castings everywhere. You are literally inviting a team of master soil builders to work for you 24/7 for free. Now, you can't just throw a box on the ground and call it a day. That's where the layering comes in. This is a method often called sheet mulching or lasagna gardening. And it's all about mimicking what nature already does on the forest floor. Think about a forest. Does anyone go there to till the soil? To fertilize the trees? No. Leaves fall. That's carbon. Animals leave droppings, and old plants die. That's nitrogen. And over time, it all breaks down into that dark, crumbly, incredible-smelling soil. We're just going to speed up that process. So your first layer is the cardboard, the weed blocker, the worm inviter. Make sure you use plain brown cardboard, no glossy colored stuff. Peel off as much of the plastic tape as you can. Don't worry about the black ink. Most of it in the US is soy-based and perfectly safe. The glues are typically starch-based and break down easily. Overlap the edges by a good 6 inches so no sneaky weeds can find a crack of sunlight. Now for the next layer. This is the engine, the hot layer. We need nitrogen. This is what a lot of people call the greens. Think kitchen scraps, your vegetable peels, your coffee grounds and filters, your eggshells. Got grass clippings? Throw them on. Pulled some weeds from another part of the yard? As long as they haven't gone to seed, throw them on. This nitrogen layer is the fuel that gets the whole decomposition party started. It provides the protein for the microbes that are about to go to work. You want a nice, healthy layer of this stuff, maybe 2 to 4 inches thick, right on top of your cardboard. This is what's going to heat up the pile and kickstart the breakdown. But here's a secret most people get wrong. If you only have greens, you're going to end up with a slimy, stinky mess. You have to balance it. It's all about the carbon to nitrogen ratio. The cardboard was our first carbon layer, but we need another one on top. This is your browns layer. This is the stuff that adds bulk, prevents smells, and holds in moisture. Think dried leaves you raked up in the fall. Think straw, not hay, which is full of seeds. Wood chips, shredded newspaper, pine needles, all of these are fantastic carbon sources. You're going to put a thick layer of these browns, maybe 4 to 8 inches, right on top of your green nitrogen layer. This top layer acts like a blanket. It insulates the pile, keeping the moisture in and the temperature stable. It prevents your kitchen scraps from attracting flies or pests. It keeps the whole system looking neat and tidy. And that's it. That's the basic recipe. Cardboard, greens, browns. You just built a soil-making factory in your backyard. So what's actually happening in this garden lasagna you just made? It's not just a pile of yard waste. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that you've just created from scratch. Deep inside, that nitrogen layer is heating up, attracting billions of bacteria and other microorganisms. They are the first responders, the microscopic demolition crew, tearing apart the food scraps and grass clippings. As they work, they create the perfect environment for the next wave of life. The fungi. Fungal networks, the mycelium, are the internet of the soil. They are thread-like structures that will spread throughout the entire pile, breaking down the tougher, woodier materials like the cardboard and wood chips. They are master decomposers, turning carbon into complex molecules that plants can use. And all this activity, this smorgasbord of decomposing material, is ringing the dinner bell for the earthworms. They move in and become the heavy machinery of the operation. They tunnel through the layers, dragging organic matter down, aerating the pile, and leaving behind their castings. In a single season, you can go from having almost no worms to having a thriving population that is constantly improving your soil structure. This entire process creates something called humus. Humus is the end result of decomposition. It's the dark, stable, spongy material that gives rich soil its color and texture. It's a miracle substance. It can hold up to 90% of its weight in water, which means you'll have to water your garden far less. It acts like a pantry, holding on to nutrients and releasing them slowly to your plants when they need them. You're not just making dirt, you're cultivating a complex web of life. You're building a soil that is resilient, that can fight off diseases, and that will feed your plants better than any synthetic fertilizer ever could. Now, you might be asking, this sounds great, Defense, but how long does it take? And can I plant in it right away? Here's the beauty of this system. You don't have to wait for it to fully break down into perfect soil. If you're building a new raised bed, for example, you can do this layering method at the bottom cardboard, greens, browns, and then top it off with just a few inches of compost or bagged soil to plant your seedlings into immediately. Their roots will have a nice, comfortable place to start, and as they grow downwards, they'll reach that decomposing gold mine just as it's becoming biologically active. The plants will tap into that nutrient-rich, worm-filled zone, and their growth will absolutely explode. You're giving them a perfect starter home with a fully stocked, gourmet kitchen in the basement. If you're converting a patch of lawn, you can do the same thing. Lay down your lasagna, then cut holes right through the top layers and plant larger plants like tomatoes or squash directly into pockets of compost. By the end of the season, the cardboard will have mostly disappeared, the weeds will be gone, and the soil underneath will be darker, softer, and more alive than you thought possible. The real transformation happens over about 6 months to a year. After a full cycle of seasons, that whole layered pile will have settled and transformed into a few inches of the most incredible, dark, rich, crumbly soil you've ever seen. And the best part? The soil food web you've built, the worms, the bacteria, the fungi, is now established. From now on, all you have to do is keep feeding it. Just add a layer of compost or mulch on top each year. No more tilling, no more backbreaking work. You just feed the life in the soil, and it will feed your plants. Let's bust a couple of quick myths. People worry about pests. Won't all those kitchen scraps attract rats? Not if you do it right. The key is that thick carbon cap on top the layer of leaves or wood chips. It completely covers the food layer, so pests aren't interested. They can't smell it, and they don't want to dig through 8 inches of dry leaves to find it. Another question I get is about the types of cardboard. A little bit of packing tape you missed isn't the end of the world. You can just pull it out later. The soy-based inks are consumed by the soil life. This method is incredibly forgiving. Nature knows what to do. Our job is just to give it the right ingredients and get out of the way. Think about the implications of this. You're taking what your city considers waste cardboard, leaves, grass clippings, fruit scraps, and you are turning it into the most valuable asset for your home and your health. Living fertile soil. You're sequestering carbon from the atmosphere and putting it back in the ground where it belongs. You're creating a garden that needs less water, which is huge in a world of increasing droughts. You're eliminating the need for chemical fertilizers that pollute our waterways. You're building a resilient, self-sustaining ecosystem in your own backyard. This is so much more than a gardening tip. It's a statement. It's a way of saying, I'm not just a consumer, I'm a creator, I'm a partner with nature. If this idea of turning your trash into treasure, of building a soil factory instead of just buying bags of dirt, has flipped a switch in your brain, if you're ready to stop fighting your garden and start building a thriving ecosystem from the ground up, then do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. This channel, 15 years of growing, is all about this. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about understanding the why behind what we do. I've got a decade and a half of mistakes and breakthroughs to share with you, and we're just getting started. So next time you're about to break down a cardboard box and shove it in the recycling bin, I want you to pause. I want you to see it not as trash, but as the foundation for your future garden. The foundation for darker, richer soil and healthier, happier plants. It's the single best first step you can take to becoming not just a gardener, but a true soil builder.